Selamat sore, Ibu Bapak sekalian. Anna,
Hi.
how are you?
Can you hear me?
Hai,
Yes.
Selamat sore.
selamat sore.
Can I share my screen or what will
You
you?
want to, please.
I can find where is my presentation. Okay.
Hmm.
Can you see my slides now?
Yes, but not yet full screen. You
Yes,
want
I'm
to-
trying.
Mhm.
Okay,
Okay, perfect.
thank you.
Yes.
So how's the weather in Moscow right now? Minus.
I don't know. I'm in Jakarta,
Okay, but
but we can
maybe
check. We can check. The weather is now +2, so it's not very cold. It's not typical for December. Usually it's colder.
okay.
Is it raining now in there? I mean, in your office? Because
Yes,
in
yes. In
Stockholm, it is
Ashibade it's raining very.
Oh, same. Mhm.
Yes, outside.
Susilo not yet join ya, pelajaran.
I have already told him to give the speech, opening speech.
So Anna, will you go back to your country for the New Year's holiday?
Yes, I will.
At the end of this December?
To Moscow at the end of December because I want to see my all my kids
Oh,
and my
come
family.
with you in here?
My youngest daughter is here with me. My elder kids are different parts of the world together in Moscow at the end of the year.
So how is the project in Uzbekistan going smoothly, Anna? You are still mute. I cannot hear you.
Sorry. So how it happened? Yes, so I will say some words about it. They decided to develop simultaneously large capacity and small capacity. So it's a very interesting project, and I hope that it will be implemented smoothly.
Okay.
Because we are in discussion about this project for several years, so quite a long time, I would say.
Okay.
Looks like a discussion about development of nuclear project always takes a couple of years to start.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean quite a long time? It means 5 or 10 years or
Maybe 10 years, because
really?
I remember that we started to discuss this maybe around 10 years ago initially. So it was step by step.
Okay. So they are going to have several NPPs. It means a series of NPPs in Uzbekistan, is it?
Yes, they plan now to have both large capacity and small capacity. And as far as I understand, for Indonesia, it would be also a good solution, because if we take into account your plans, if we speak about RUPTL, for example, where you have 7 gigawatt of nuclear in 2040, it's inevitable, I think, that you should think about simultaneous implementation of both large capacity and small capacity to have this goal achieved in 2040. So this is our proposal to Indonesia, to start both projects, because of course large capacity will take longer, but we should prepare it starting from human resources, from infrastructure development, so it can take some time.
Okay. I will stop your screen sharing, and I'd like to ask Geni to start. Okay. Geni?
Yeah.
You're mute. Please unmute yourself. Microphone out.
Dah. Nah. Ya, I will speak in Indonesia first. Selamat sore Bapak dan Ibu, partisipan HIMNI yang setia. Hari ini kita kembali pada webinar HIMNI yang ke-36 atau 256 ya sejak kita mulai webinar HIMNI. Dan hari ini kita mendapatkan narasumber yang luar biasa dari Rusia, ya Dr. Anna. Dan kami yakin akan banyak sekali informasi terkait kesiapan teknologi dan bagaimana pengalaman juga dari Rosatom ini dalam mengembangkan berbagai PLTN di belahan dunia. Karena Rosatom mempunyai teknologi yang kita tahu Rosatom adalah bapak teknologi terkait dengan PLTN ini dan sudah berpuluh tahun bergelut dengan PLTN. Tapi sebelum itu kami persilahkan Bapak Ketua HIMNI, Pak Susilo udah masuk ya? Ya, Pak Susilo, for your opening remarks. Silakan Pak Susilo.
Terima kasih Bu Geni, selamat sore dan salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Salam sehat dari sudut pasar Jumat ini terpaksa menyudut karena lobet, jadi terpaksa dengan HP gitu. Bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu sekalian, distinguished speaker, Dr. Anna Belokoneva, sore ini kita sekali lagi mengucapkan syukur kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, Allah SWT, dalam kondisi hujan gerimis, kita diberkati nikmat sehat dan nikmat waktu sehingga sore ini kita bisa berkumpul kembali untuk menyimak apa yang akan disampaikan oleh our distinguished speaker, Top Markotop, Dr. Anna. Thank you very much, Dr. Anna, for your availability for us. You are always available for us for any time. Thank you very much. Dan sore ini saya kira waktu kita ini 4 Desember, besok pagi adalah 5 Desember. 5 Desember adalah kelahiran Batang, dalam arti ya nuklir mulai dipelajari, mulai dikerjakan di Indonesia. Kita tahu semua bahwa lahir tahun 1998, tanggalnya 5 Desember, dan itu selalu kita kenang, kita peringati sebagai hari kehormatan, hari nuklir, dan saya kira ini sangat bagus. Dr. Anna, tomorrow is 5th of December, is the born of Batan, National Atomic Energy Agency, and we start first with your help from Soviet Union, I think. Maybe you aware or we are always remember that 3 years later, after Batan is established in 1961, you provide us with the subcritical assembly equipment, which is very important for us at that time. And until now, the assembly is still available in Yogyakarta. And beside the assembly, of course, we use natural uranium as a fuel. And unfortunately, that we never use that fuel so far. So there are still about 100 unit, more than 100 unit, I believe, fuel in Yogyakarta. Welcome to visit there to see what kind of fuel used in 1960 when we we got help from Soviet Union at the time. Dan Ibu Bapak sekalian, hari ini kembali lagi kita akan mendengarkan presentasi dari Dr. Anna. Alhamdulillah Bapak-Bapak sudah siap semua karena tadi saya mulai bicara itu baru 34, namun sekarang sudah 90 lebih ya? Bukan. Iya, naik terus angkanya sehingga Alhamdulillah mungkin webinar yang menurut hitungan saya karena minggu yang lalu ke 35, hari ini adalah 36 ini kita kembali mendapat narasumber yang sangat penting untuk kita dengar karena mungkin salah satu rahasia Rosatom adalah salah satu provider untuk PLTN yang potensial saat ini gitu, dan mungkin kita paling tidak kalau ada beberapa unit PLTN mungkin minimal 1-2 atau mungkin mayoritas justru kita akan mendapat bantuan dari Rosatom atau secara umum dari negara Rusia. Saya kira ini saja Bu Geni yang bisa saya sampaikan. Peserta sudah banyak dan saya kira waktunya lebih baik untuk Ibu Dr. Anna sebagai narasumber. Itu saja Bapak Ibu sekalian yang kami hormati, penyampaian dari saya, lebih dan kurangnya mohon maaf. Bila Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam. Thank you so much, Pak Susilo, for your opening remarks. And I want to greet all the participants who just joined with us in this webinar HIMNI. The 36 webinars in this year, or 256 webinars since we started during a pandemic. So before we start, usually we will ask the participants who will be the member of HIMNI, please follow the following video. Okay, thank you, Pak Jarod. So we will invite all the participants who will be the members of the HIMNI. You can also look at the chat how to be a member of HIMNI. So I want to greet again. Good afternoon for all the participants and for following or sparing your time for today, following our weekly webinars. And then also, we want to greet very warm regard to our distinguished guest, Dr. Anna. Yeah, she is the official representative of Rosatom in Indonesia as the head of Rosatom official in Indonesia. And we are truly honored to have her with us today, of course. Her presence, of course, will provide invaluable insight into Rosatom's technology readiness, international experience, and the pathway that can support Indonesia's plan to operate its first nuclear power plant. by 232, according to our RUPTL. At the time when the global attention is shifting toward reliable low carbon energy solution or net zero emission carbon, an open and transparent dialogue has been started, such as today, webinars is becoming very important one. So through Dr. Anna's presentation, we hope that the deepen our understanding of advanced reactor technology, including the floating NPPs, of course, such as the KLT40S, how is the safety systems, financing models, and the broader ecosystem that enables successful nuclear development in many countries is very important one to be as an input for us to be proposed to our president as the first nuclear power plants in Indonesia. So we sincerely thanks to Dr. Anna and Rosatom, of course, for their willingness to share expertise and engage in constructive discussion with us today through our webinar, HIMNI's webinar. So I hope that this webinar will be meaningful step towards stronger cooperation and cleaner, more resilient Indonesia future for energy. So we wish everyone an insightful and productive session. So we will let the microphone to Anna. You may have 1 hour's delivering time. So it all depends on you, and then we will continue by question and answer from the participant. So the time is yours now, Anna.
Terima kasih banyak, Bu Geni. Selamat sore, dear friends. Bapak Ibu yang terhormat, I will speak English, but I'm study Bahasa, so I hope maybe next year I will speak in Bahasa on your webinar if you call me. So thank you very much for inviting me today. It's a big honor for me to speak at your webinar. Thank you for HIMNI Society, and thank you, Pak Susila, for your very warm welcoming speech and for mentioning our historical cooperation. Now I would like to share my slides, if possible. Can you see my slides now? Okay, thank you. So I will make a presentation which will consist of 3 major parts. First, I will tell you some words about our history of our cooperation. Then I will talk about our flagship technologies which we develop now in nuclear energy. And then I will show you some slides with our proposal to Indonesia. And of course, it will be an overview of our technologies. So maybe if you will be interested, we could propose on next webinars, if it will be possible, to make some special presentations separate on different technologies, if it will be of interest for you. So I'm trying to... Yes, let me start from the very beginning. As you may know, this year we celebrate 80th anniversary of Russian nuclear industry. And on this slide, you can see a photo of the world first nuclear power plant, which was built in Obninsk. It's a small city not far from Moscow. And from this world's first nuclear power plant, which was built in Soviet Union, started the history of commercial use of civil nuclear power. As you can imagine, through all this year, we have developed a big experience in developing nuclear power plants. And almost at the same time, Indonesia also started to develop nuclear program. And as you see, in 1956, as you, of course, you know, in 1956, National Committee began investigating nuclear technology, and in 2 years, Atomic Energy Council and the Atomic Energy Institute were created in Indonesia. At that period, our cooperation developed very actively, and there were several joint projects which were developed by Soviet Union and Indonesia. For example, as you may know, Soviet Union helped to build Gelora Bung Karno Stadium in Jakarta in 1960. Almost at the same time, we commissioned the world's first civil nuclear-powered vessel, first nuclear icebreaker Lenin. And as you may know, now Russia has the only one in the world nuclear icebreaker fleet. And by the way, this experience also helped us to develop SMR technology for nuclear power generation. I will speak about it a little bit later. And it's a very interesting also, a very interesting event happened this year, which is also connected both with nuclear icebreaker fleet and with Indonesia, because this year we had a special program for school kids. It was international contest, and school children from 20 countries who won this contest in their national stage, they participated in a journey to the North Pole on board nuclear icebreaker. So here you can see a photo which was made on a very symbolic date. It was 17th of September, when Indonesia was celebrating 80th anniversary of your independence. When an Indonesian school kid, his name is Priya, he reached North Pole on board of our icebreaker and made this photo with Indonesian flag. I think that it's a very symbolic event, and I wanted to share it with you. And of course, it's also important that there is a good dialogue between our leaders. Our presidents have already met several times. First, they met in Moscow in July last year. Then there was a meeting in June this year in St. Petersburg, and one more meeting is coming soon. And during their meetings, they always discussed prospects of our cooperation in nuclear sphere. So I hope that these are only the steps of which are the beginning of our fruitful future cooperation in nuclear industry. Now, please let me tell some words about our international projects. As you can see on this slide, we are now a leader in nuclear power plants export. So if you look at the nuclear power plants which are now built all around the world for export by other countries, you will see that from 25 large NPP units, 22 are now built by Russian nuclear industry. We are building nuclear power plants in such countries as Hungary, Turkey, India, Bangladesh, China, and we also signed contracts for NPP construction this year with Uzbekistan and with Kazakhstan. We are also a leader in other parts of the nuclear supply chain. We're having the second place in uranium reserves globally, third place in uranium production, first place in uranium enrichment market, and third place in nuclear fuel market globally. Also, I would like to mention that Rosatom is a huge corporation. We have more than 400,000 people employed all over the world, And now we have more than 500 organizations, and they, of course, engage not only in nuclear power plants construction, but also in other spheres of nuclear industry, of energy industry, of radiation technologies like nuclear medicine, etc. So we would be happy to cooperate with Indonesia, of course, not only in the field of nuclear power plants construction, but also in other spheres of nuclear technologies. Also, we commissioned the world's first nuclear power plant with generation 3+ reactor. You can see on this photo it was Novorossiysk NPP2 in Russia in 2017. And now this technology, VVR 1200, is our flagship large capacity reactor technology, which we propose to other countries. It's very important to mention that we already have 6 units in operation based on this technology, both in Russia and in Belarus. And we built these reactors in other countries, as I already mentioned. This technology and units based on this technology have at least 60 years life cycle, which can be extended on 20 years more, and active and passive safety systems. I will tell a little bit later about them. And this is one of our projects, Akkuyu NPP in Turkey. There we are constructing 4 units simultaneously. So when it will be fully commissioned, the capacity of the nuclear power plant will be 4.8 gigawatt. And at the moment of construction, we have 34,000 people involved in this project. So you can imagine how important it is for development of the local capacity building and of the region in general. Here you can see some figures about contribution of this project to the Sustainable Development Goals. In other words, how this project contributes to economy, to ecological situation in the region, and to job creation. So you can see that when it will be commissioned, it will cover 10% of the electricity demand in the region, in the country, and already we have more than 400 local companies involved in the project. So localization percentage is also very high in this project, and this project is very profitable for local industries. And we also pay very big attention to education. So you can see that more than 600 specialists are now studying in Russia, specialists from Turkey, who will work on this project. So this project is really important from different sides and also for development of the education. And by the way, here is a very interesting project which was recently held at Akkuyu. We have so-called atomic fishing tournament. And this year, first we had participants from Indonesia. You can see on the photo, these are 2 fishermen from Sulawesi Tenggara. They participated in this fisherman contest and they took the 2nd place. In this contest, they were not only fishing there on site of the NPP construction, but they also had a tour around NPP construction site. They also had an opportunity to talk to local people and to discuss with them if they are happy or not about nuclear power plant construction on their land. So I think this is an example of a very good project for informing people from different countries about not only technologies, but about social and economical impact of the project to the region of implementation. And of course, we would be happy to develop cooperation in this project with Indonesia and many other projects, and maybe someday, why not, we will be able to organize such a fishing tournament in Indonesia. I think it would be very interesting. Another construction site is El Dabaa project in Egypt. We are also constructing there 4 VVR units. And now this project is supposed to be the biggest nuclear power plant construction site in the world. And you see the figure, around $7 billion. This is the estimation of the amount of contracts which local companies, local suppliers have at this project, which is also very important. If you speak about this Egyptian project, you can see that here thousands of people will study thanks to Rosatom assistance, including higher education in frames of this project implementation. And around 20 million people will be provided with electricity from this nuclear power plant. And almost 70% of workers are from Egypt during this nuclear power plant construction process, which is also very important for the development of local economy. And here you can see another first-of-a-kind project which we already have in operation in Russia. It's our world's first floating nuclear power plant, first modern small modular reactor in operation. Here you can see a photo of a floating nuclear power plant called Academic Lomonosov, which is located in Pevek. Pevek is a small city on the very, very far northeast part of Russia. The climate conditions are very severe there, and it's a very remote area. So this solution was the best for creating new energy generation facility in this area. It was connected to the grid in 2019, so now it's already 6 years of operation. And you can see that it's a proven technology, and now we propose this solution. After we tested it in Russia, we propose this solution to our international partners and also to Indonesia. In this project, we use KLT-40 reactors, and the capacity of this floating nuclear power plant is 70 megawatts, but now we propose for international market, we propose next generation Rhythm 200 reactors, which are already in operation in our nuclear icebreakers. So this technology is also proven and is also tested in Russia. And here you can see a group of journalists on board of this floating nuclear power plant. And among these journalists, we had 3 Indonesian representatives from different media, which spent a week in this very nice small city, Pevek, and had a fantastic chance to visit floating nuclear power plant. So if you're interested, I can share with you links to their articles and to their video materials in YouTube, and you can also communicate with them and they will share their experience with you, I think. Here you can see, I just mentioned Rhythm 200 reactors. So here you can see that we propose 2 SMR solutions for floating power units and for land-based SMR nuclear power plants. Their capacity will be 100 or 110 megawatt for each unit, which will be composed of 2 reactors. And the life cycle of this nuclear power plants is also 60 years. which also can be extended. And for floating power units, the refueling period will be up to 7 years, which is, I think, now the biggest refueling period for nuclear power plants, at least in the world. Pak Gerald just asked me about a project in Uzbekistan. You can see that Uzbekistan just recently decided that they will have 2 VVR 1000 reactors and 2 SMRs. So this will be a very interesting project where we will simultaneously implement 2 different reactor technologies for our Uzbekistan partners. And also just recently, we were selected by Kazakhstan as a consortium leader to build their first nuclear power plant. They are planning to build 2 units of VVR 1200, so it will be large capacity nuclear power plant at Balkhash Lake. And in August this year, we started engineering service on site. As I already mentioned on example of Eldaba and Kuyu NPPs, nuclear power plants are making a very serious contribution to the economical development of the country. And I think it's very important to remember and to mention when we talk with people, because we know that usually people are afraid of nuclear and are afraid of radiation. So it's very important to mention that nuclear power plants are not only about energy generation, but they are also about very serious impact to economy development, to sustainable development, because they have the lowest CO2 emissions input, and they can generate stable electricity supply for at least 60 years. So it means that we invest in several generations, and we provide several generations with stable electricity supply, which is very important for, especially for very steadily growing economies like Indonesia. And that nuclear power plants have a relatively small area footprint in comparison with the same amount of generation from other sources. Of course, it's guaranteed jobs for thousands of people. And also nuclear power plants provide low dependence of electricity price on cost of fuel. It's very important. So the price will be stable because it will not depend on the fluctuations on the fuel markets. And of course, nuclear power plants construction provide development of industry and of science. Here you can see some figures about CO2 emissions, because as you know, Indonesia has commitment to reach net zero emissions goal by 2060. And of course, we all understand that for any country, it's impossible to reach this commitment without including nuclear generation into your energy balance. Here on this slide, you can see that nuclear has the lowest footprint in terms of greenhouse emissions, and it can be compared with wind, and its footprint is lower than for all other types of generation, much lower than of course for conventional types of generation. Here are some other socio-economical effects of nuclear power plants development, which I think is also important to have in mind when we communicate with people, with general public, who sometimes don't understand why nuclear should be added into energy mix. So it's very important to mention that nuclear power plants and development of nuclear industry makes a very serious impact to the national development on different levels, both for energy security, for economical development, of local industry development and of jobs creation, and of course on human resources development, both in terms of education and in terms of research and science. And now let me tell some words about our proposal to Indonesia. As I already said, we have both small and large solutions which are already proven. So taking into account your very ambitious plans to reach 7 gigawatt of nuclear energy by 2040, which is stated in RUPTL plan, we propose to consider both small capacity and large capacity. For large capacity, of course, we would propose to use VVR 1200 units, and for small capacity, it could be both floating and land-based SMR units with written 200 reactors. And if we speak about timeline, of course, the quickest will be floating solution, because for the floating, it is possible to build the first unit in approximately 5 years. So if we start, for example, next year, if we would start next year, then we would be able to commission the first unit with 100 megawatt by 2030, 2031. And for the floating power unit, we have a concept of so-called nuclear battery. So this means that we will build it in Russia, we will fuel it in Russia, and we will bring this floating nuclear power plant to Indonesia, to the site which will be chosen by Indonesian government, and it can be connected to the grid there. And for the refueling, it will be taken to Russia, back to Russia. So you will need not to do any refueling on site, which is very important. And we will bring to this site another unit, which will be connected to the grid smoothly, and the energy generation will not be interrupted. Here is the layout of a large-scale nuclear power plant, which we also propose for Indonesia. As you know, there are 28 possible locations which were proposed by National Energy Council of Indonesia for possible location of nuclear power plants in Indonesia. And in RUPTL, you have two first possible locations for nuclear power plant, West Kalimantan and Bangka Belitung. As both of these locations are seismically safe, both of them can be considered as possible location for large power units. And both small and large capacity units can be implemented there if your government decides so. For VVR 1200, we have a very serious active and passive, and for it also, so generally it's the same. We have active and passive safety systems which meet all the post-Fukushima, all the IAEA requirements. You can see on this slide that we have protection from external impacts. We have core catcher on the bottom, emergency core cooling system, and some other systems which make this reactor technology, I think, the most safe reactor technology now existing in the world. And here you can see the layout of propose plant-based SMR nuclear power plant, which can be modular. So we can add additional units which will enlarge capacity of this nuclear power plant, and the capacity can be 110 or 220 megawatt and so on. Also, it's very important to mention that we propose not only reactor technology, not only energy generation. We propose an integrated offer to our international partners. What does it mean? We can start cooperation from the very beginning, from development of necessary nuclear infrastructure, from implementing projects in public acceptance, as I mentioned already, capacity building. We have different programs for human resources development. For example, we can invite students to Russian universities. We can elaborate joint programs with Indonesian universities. We can organize short-term courses. But of course, this human resources program should be developed based on the project. So when Indonesia decides which project you are going to implement, if it will be large capacity or it will be small capacity nuclear power plant, then based on this decision, we could elaborate a human resources development plan together with BRIN, of course, together with your universities, and to prepare all the necessary specialists, engineers, researchers for this project and for different stages of the implementation of this project. And of course, we propose fuel supply, we propose backend solutions, and operation and maintenance. By the way, next week, my colleagues from our red waste management company will come to Jakarta, and they will meet with colleagues from BRIN also to discuss possible cooperation. So we're ready to cooperate with Indonesia on different levels. You can see that this integrated approach, it engages different parts of implementation of national nuclear energy project. And that's all my slides. I think now if you have any questions, I would be happy to discuss.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Anna, for your presentation. It is very interesting one, I think. So is there any participants who will deliver a question orally? So please raise your hand. But we already have 2 questions in the chat. So I will read it for you before me myself will deliver some question for you. So this is from Geni Sunaryo. So he already left the webinars because he is having another appointment, but he left some question for you. Dr. Anna, okay. He is asking you about the MOU between the Rosatom in atomic with Russia. He saw that there is a MOU between Russia and Myanmar. Yeah, Russia and Myanmar relating with the NPP, I think. And then he asks, how serious is the Myanmar won't have a plan to construct the NPP? So that's question.
Yes, thank you very much for this question. Yes, we are working with different countries in ASEAN region. it's a very good opportunity to mention, yes, that we are in discussion with different countries. We're in discussion also with Malaysia. We're in discussion with Vietnam, and with Myanmar. Yes, we already have an intergovernmental agreement on cooperation in nuclear industry. By the way, we also have this intergovernmental agreement with Indonesia. It was signed in 2006. Framework intergovernmental agreement. And with Myanmar, there is intergovernmental agreement which is already dedicated to small modular reactors. So yes, we are going to build their SMRs, and I hope that this project will be implemented smoothly. But as I am not a person which is in charge of cooperation with Myanmar, so I think I will not give you more details now about this project. In case you are interested in our cooperation with other countries in the region or with Myanmar, I think we could organize a separate webinar where we can invite my colleagues in these countries, because we also have offices in Vietnam, we have office in Malaysia, and if you're interested in our progress in other countries of the region, I think it would be good to organize such a webinar with their participation. Thank you.
I think it will be a very interesting one, Anna, to know the progress of our neighborhood.
By the way, you know, we're also in a very good contact now with Center of Energy of ASEAN. We organized a webinar, not a webinar, a workshop together with ASEAN Center of Energy at the ASEAN Energy Forum in Kuala Lumpur in October. And they also invited speakers from different countries. So if you're interested in such a comprehensive webinar, which will be dedicated to ASEAN nuclear programs, I think you could also invite Center of Energy of ASEAN.
Oh yeah, or maybe we can create the Asian webinar, Asian countries webinar. Okay, thank you, Anna. And then there is another question which is already listed in the chat from Ahmad Waries Taufani. So he asked you about how do energy stakeholders, especially electrical companies in your country, convince the public to support nuclear power plant construction development. So given Russia's traumatic history with nuclear facilities in the past. So I mean, it is relating with the public acceptance, Anna. So how
Thank you very much.
how the approaching strategy?
Very interesting, very important question, because of course, as I said, when we start to build nuclear power plants in other countries, all around the world, we have different situations with public acceptance. And of course, when the country is not familiar with nuclear energy generation, there are some issues from local people, and they're not sure if it's okay, if they need it. But as I said, we have some programs and some approaches, proven approaches, how to inform people about modern technologies and about their safety. But if we speak about Russia, at the moment we have 20% of generation in our Russian energy balance from nuclear energy. So you can imagine that it's quite a lot. So people live not far from nuclear power plants. We have cities, we have towns near each nuclear power plant where people live, and most of the people in the cities work on the nuclear power plants. So this is one group of people. Those people who live near nuclear power plants, they're usually very happy because they have jobs. They have very good social support, very good medical support. And by the way, there was some research, as far as I remember, that the health situation is better in these so-called nuclear cities than in general in Russia, because they have very good medical and social support in these cities. And most of people there, so as I said, we have 80th anniversary of nuclear industry this year. So we have a long history of nuclear power plants development. So most of the people are used to this source of generation, and they just know that nuclear is one of the ways of generating electricity. And we have different programs to inform people, to inform public about our modern technologies. We have information centers, and we also propose for our partner countries to build such information centers on sites of nuclear power plants construction, where we can invite school children, where we can invite local people, and to explain them how modern technologies work and why they're safe. And also in Moscow, for example, we have a very beautiful and big 6-story so-called Atom Museum. So we have Museum of Atomic Industry in Russia. It's very interesting. It's interactive. So it's quite popular among people who visit Moscow, people who live in Moscow. They come there with their families, and in a very simple and understandable way, there they can understand some facts about modern nuclear technologies, about history of nuclear industry. And you know that all the fears come from something which is not familiar, which is difficult to understand. So when people start to ask questions, when they start to understand some information about modern reactor technologies, about radiation in general, about natural radiation, then they become more and more happy with these technologies, I would say. And if you speak about local people, for example, when we start to build nuclear power plants in other countries, and their local people are not very happy with this nuclear power plants construction, we also have some approaches how to inform them about the opportunities which a nuclear power plant opens to them, because it's not only jobs on construction site, it's also a big growing market for people who, for example, grow vegetables and fruits nearby, so they can sell them to those people who come to work on this nuclear power plants site, and many other opportunities for local people. And why we started to organize this fishermen contests, because usually fishermen are the people who are not very happy with construction of nuclear power plants. So what we decided to do is to get the fishermen from different countries where we already developed nuclear power plants, or where government is going to develop nuclear power plants, to existing sites. And this project started from Russian nuclear power plants. So first, these tournaments were organized in Russia, in the ponds near nuclear power plants which are already in operation. And this was also a very good opportunity to explain to fishermen from different countries that the fish is not suffering from nuclear power plant which is nearby. So there are different ways how we can talk to people. I think the most important thing that we should be open, that we should give as much information as it's possible, and of course to communicate with different groups on their language. So to explain them those things which are important to them. And we have some experience in Rosatom in this sphere.
Yeah. If we talk about the public acceptance, it will be very important one in Indonesia, of course, because we already have so many experience with anti-nuclear. So the one that you already described is very interesting one. Maybe we can share another webinar about the sharing knowledge with the fishermen or something like that. So we can promote, or we can share the experience from them to the population who is maybe you said the West Kalimantan or Bangka Belitung, which is so many fishermen in there, yeah, it will be very useful, I think, Asana. So we will continue the question. I don't know. There is a question from Pak Arif. I don't know. Pak Arif is the chairman of BRIN or not? Pak Mujiono. So who is Pak Arif in here? Maybe chairman of BRIN because he cannot join us, but he delivers some question for you. It is very important one, I think, and this is a very has a very close relation with the public acceptance. So there are 3 questions from Pak Arif. The first question is how can elements of state governance strengthen public trust? So yeah, public acceptance, public trust in the nuclear power plants development plan. And what lessons can Indonesia learn from Russia's experience in this area? Maybe you already described a brief. And then the second question is based on Russia's long experience in utilizing nuclear power plant, what effective and measurable approaches have been used to address anti-nuclear campaigns, such as those by the maybe social ecological union, so that public confidence remains high and the society continues to view nuclear energy as a clean and acceptable option rather than rejecting it. And the last question from Pak Arif is from Miss Anna's perspective. So he is asking about your perspective and experience in building partnerships. Why does Indonesia stand out as a promising partner for realizing its first nuclear power plant? So this is the true question. 3 questions coming from Pak.
The first one, please remind me, it was about stakeholders, governmental stakeholders' roles?
Yes.
Yes, I think it's
With the strengthen public trust.
the first one.
Yeah, the first one. So how is the governance strengthened?
Public trust.
Yes.
All the questions are about public trust.
Yeah. So related with the Russia's experience.
Thank you very much. It's of course the role of the government is very important in this process, and of course it's very important that government shows that it supports nuclear industry development on different levels. It should be very visible and it should be very understandable to common people. First of all, that government is serious in approaching nuclear, so it's not like an attempt, it's a very serious program and a very serious decision, which is well supported by some research, and it is a serious part of the National Energy Transition and Energy Development Plan. Then I think that there are different kinds of instruments which government can use, starting from different campaigns for young people, which is, I think, very important. As I mentioned, we organized this year icebreaker of knowledge for school kids. We also have some programs for students where students can elaborate some solutions using nuclear technologies for solving some serious problems which our societies are facing now. So there are different kinds of programs which government can implement, and we can share this experience with Indonesia for young people. Of course, it can be lectures in universities, so nuclear technologies and nuclear education can be promoted in universities, and I know that BRIN has its own university, Teknologi Nuklir. There are also some universities in Indonesia which prepare nuclear and radiation specialists. So maybe we can develop and we can strengthen cooperation there. We can bring our lecturers from Russia who can deliver lectures for students about modern reactor technologies to prepare good acceptance of nuclear among young people. I think that this is one of the most important audiences, because these young people, they're, of course, first of all, as I saw in Indonesia, young people are very motivated, and it's very important. So they're interested, they want to know more, and they will be this generation who will implement and who will operate this nuclear power plants. So it's important, I think, to work with this on this with these groups on the level of universities. Also, there are some projects, some programs which can be implemented with local societies. And here we can switch to next question about anti-nuclear organizations, because as you know, usually anti-nuclear organizations, they are very active locally. So when government chooses the location of the nuclear power plant, usually there is some activity of anti-nuclear organizations which try to persuade local people that they should protest against nuclear. And we also have instruments how to work with this. We have, for example, one of these instruments is public hearings, where we organize an event where all people can participate, they can come and ask their questions, and usually ecological organization also come to this event and they ask their questions. So we can discuss there openly all these questions, and to answer these questions both from local people and from these ecological organizations, and to justify our approach and our technologies. Also, as I said, we can organize exchange between our nuclear, for example, cities, and those cities which will be located near future nuclear power plants. For example, leaders of the opinion from the local regional cities, villages which will be located near nuclear power plant, they can visit our nuclear cities, and they can talk to people who already live near nuclear power plants, and to exchange their experience, to discuss their worries, to ask their questions, and so on. And for experts, we also propose technical tours to our nuclear power plants, so that experts who are making decisions, for example, of course, there will be some stakeholders who will not be sure in nuclear technologies in general and Russian nuclear technologies, and they can have some questions. They would like to see by their own eyes how these technologies work. So we would be happy to organize for these experts from stakeholder organization visits to our nuclear power plants or to our construction sites, where they can also discuss all the questions with people who work there, or with people who live there, and with local officials. So there are different levels. I think that this is one of the main tools how we can work with these fears and with these stereotypes. We should exchange experience between people, and to organize this dialogue where people can talk to each other and discuss their worries. So this is one of the ways how we can work with this.
Yeah, I think that Russia has so many experience with so many countries, with so many countries, because you are having so many collaborations such as Egypt now and Turkey, who are having a different culture, a different culture. Looks like Indonesia has a very specific culture, of course, because the economy level and how they live is, different with other country. So do you think that the strategy that you already described is effective enough for Indonesia to, to face the anti-nuclear. Who will come suddenly to that area or something? Because different different objective, yeah.
You know, it's very important for us that government of Indonesia and professional organizations of Indonesia like HIMNI and maybe others, that they also prepared some program of working with these stereotypes and fears, because of course, you know better how people prefer to get information and how they prefer to communicate. And of course, you know better how it's better to share information about nuclear with your people. We can share our experience, how we do it in Russia and how we do it in other countries. And by the way, as you mentioned, Turkey and Egypt and other countries, we have such a very good practice. We invite speakers from other countries, from partners like Turkey, Egypt, Hungary, to events in other countries. For example, this year in February, we organized a seminar in Bandung together with BRIN and with PLN, and there we had speakers from Turkey and Hungary. They came to share their experience because, for example, one of the speakers, Pak Necati Yamaç from Turkey, he was from the very beginning of the nuclear program in Turkey. He was involved in development of this program, and he can share experience on different stages, starting from nuclear infrastructure development to project implementation, how they choose this project, why they choose Russia. So they can share their experience from their perspective. We can also organize your visits or visits of experts and decision makers to these countries where they can talk to people who work with Russia on this project. So yes, of course, it's necessary for any project that local government and local experts and governmental officials were involved. And of course, it's up to you to elaborate the strategy, how we should communicate with the people who will be involved in this project and who will live near the site. But we are ready to propose some projects, some solutions, how we did it in other countries, how we do it in Russia, how we share information about nuclear technologies. And together, I think we can elaborate some comprehensive plan how to make a nuclear power plant real in Indonesia.
Yeah. I think it is very interesting program, Anna. Sharing another country's experience, yeah, which is maybe the culture is almost the same with Indonesia, but different actually, yeah. If you only invite them into the very exclusive community, it cannot be spread in the common public like HIMNI or something like that. If you wish, or maybe we can share or we can construct how is the strategy, yeah. If they are coming to Indonesia, we can share under the webinar, so the public from Indonesia, yeah, because the participant of HIMNI is not only Jakarta but also a different area in Indonesia. It will be very effective one, I think. Yeah, we can discuss later about how the strategy, yeah, Anna. Okay. Is there any participants who will deliver the question orally? Pak Jarod? No? David William? Pak David William tadi udah raise hand ya? Monggo Pak. Ya, silakan Pak David William.
Makasih. I'm just want to ask, ma'am, a nuclear reactor is, as we can see at some point.
Can you deliver your who are you coming from? Maybe university or maybe something?
I think I nggak bisa Bu laptop saya rusak.
Enggak,
Itunya
Bapak dari
kameranya.
mana? Dari universitas apa
Oh.
dari mana?
Saya baru lulus, Bu, dari I just graduated from nuclear engineering at Gajah
Oke.
Mada University.
Ya, oke. Continue.
Just recently graduated, ma'am. As we all know, that nuclear reactor is sometimes could be very dangerous. Like we all know, like in Fukushima or Chernobyl, and etc. So, did Rosatom ever considered to use robotic technology to operate nuclear reactor? Just like we all know, in China, robot is very common now to be used as toys for kids. Did Rosatom ever consider to use robot, like humanoid robot, like that, to operate nuclear reactor, robot and AI? My second question is, again, people here in Indonesia, especially in Yogyakarta, since I'm still in Yogyakarta, are very scared with this so-called nuclear reactor. It's like very long time ago. Most of their reason is accident. It's okay, I mentioned it. Okay, corruption. What else? Nah, like that. Nah, again, is it possible that we teach them the detail of the nuclear security, safety, and safeguard to the public to convince them? And did Russia do that too back then? Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you very much, Pak David. I just opened the slide with safety systems of VVR 1200 reactor. You see, as I said, we have both active safety systems and passive safety system in this reactor. So if we speak about Chernobyl or Fukushima, there were in Chernobyl it was absolutely dramatically different technology, reactor technology. In Fukushima, there was the main problems were not from nuclear power plant accident, but from tsunami. But still, there was also a problem with diesel generators which were located very low. So in our present reactor technology, we take into account all these accidents. And our present reactor technology, it includes all the systems, both passive and active, which help to avoid these problems. And if we speak about, I would not now speak about robots, because you know that robots and artificial intelligence are not so predictable now, as you can see from news. But of course, some elements of robotic technologies are used nowadays on nuclear power plants. But still, on operation, of course, it's very important that it was controlled both by experienced operators, and it also should use passive safety systems, which make it possible to stop the reaction and to cool the reactor without participation of people, how it was in Fukushima, for example. And in our reactor technology, we have these systems which make it possible to stop the reactor without active role of the personnel. So this is already existing. And if we speak about sharing knowledge with people, of course, you're absolutely right. It's important to do. And as I said, we already do it in Russia, for example. We have information centers and we have Atom Museum where we on different schemes and mock-ups, we show to people how modern reactors work and why they are safe. And we have information materials for different levels of understanding. We have some workbooks for kids, we have programs for students. So we are ready to share this knowledge with people on different levels. And of course, if we will start implementing nuclear power plant project in Indonesia, we would also propose to maybe organize an information center on site or in Jakarta to invite people. Because why these information centers are effective? Because we can invite their school children and teachers, and you know that teachers are very influential on local communities. So when they get information about these modern technologies, kids come from these information centers at home, and they can share with their families, and teachers, they can share this information with local communities. So I think this is a very good and important tool where we can explain people and kids and young people and adults about on different ways in these safety systems to make them sure that this nuclear power plant will be safe. And of course, it's very important to mention that modern technologies are not like previous technologies. So Chernobyl reactor and VVR reactor are absolutely different types of technology. And it's very important to mention this, that, you know, nuclear industry has so many requirements. I think that no other energy generation industry has so many requirements for safety. And from one point of view, it's not very good because nuclear power plants are very expensive because of these safety systems. But on the other hand, it's very good because we are evolutioning in safety systems, and we can say that now nuclear power plants are the most safe in comparison with other power plants. And there is very interesting, there is a statistics which shows that in terms of accidents, professional accidents on different kinds of power plants, nuclear power plants has the lowest figure because the safety culture is so high there. So we just should share this information with people, I think.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anna. Actually, that when we were, I mean, now Green, but previously Batan, we always do some analysis, not based on the Russian technology, actually, yeah. And then I think it is better for us, if you are willing, yeah, we can share the webinar, yeah, relating with the technology of VVR 1200, yeah. How is the safety system one? How the passive hidden motor, etc. Passive safety system, etc. or something like that. It will be very important one, I think, Sana.
Yes, we can organize a special seminar, absolutely right, about precisely about safety systems. And
Yes,
we even can invite our technical specialists which are in charge of this safety systems development. So they will describe in very detail and will answer all the technical questions if you are interested in this. But of course, we would need some time to agree with them about the date when they're available and to plan this.
Yeah. It is very important, I think, yeah. And then we continue. There is a question relating with the waste management. Yeah. If we are from Agus Wibowo, yeah, what is the regulation regarding the waste material will be mentioned in MOU if we are, if we are having the collaboration with the Russia? Is it included in the MOU or not, the waste management material?
Yes, if we will implement a nuclear power plant project land-based, because for floating it will be not an issue. We will take all the waste, and as I said, we will refuel it in Russia. But for land-based, of course, it will be one of the questions which will be discussed both in intergovernmental agreement, which will be especially for nuclear power plant projects, and of course in future nuclear power plant contracts. So this question, which is one of the most important, and this is one of the points which is usually discussed in a very details with our partners. By the way, as you know, we have now technologies of reprocessing spent fuel in Russia. So this technology allows to make the amount of waste smaller than it was before. So this is very important, and I think if you are interested in this topic, in topic of spent fuel management and red waste management and how we work with this with other partners, we also can organize a separate event, because it's a huge additional topic which will involve a lot of discussion, and where we also can share our latest achievements in this sphere, both in red waste management and in spent fuel management, which are also very interesting and very up to date.
Yeah. Because if we are talking about the red waste or spent fuel management, it is very sensitive one, and people always ask how to manage that. Is there any possibility if the spent fuel is sending back to the Russia? Is there any strategy out there?
You know that it can be sent for a processing, but of course you will need to in future to prepare some final repository for the for some amount of waste, which as you know should be located in the country of operation. But it will be a very small amount. So again, as I say, it's a very important topic, and I think we should discuss it separately, because there are different approaches in the world, and we are now, I think, the only country in the world who can process spent fuel and use it for the next cycle, and we are building so-called closed nuclear fuel cycle facility now in Russia, which is also very interesting. So I think maybe we could organize a webinar, by the way, which will be dedicated to this project on the closed fuel cycle, because it's the next stage of nuclear energy industry development, and it could also make an impact into public fears combating, because it shows that next stage of this technology we can create almost a closed fuel cycle, which will be the most ecologically safe for the world.
Yeah. Jarod, do you have any question related with the red waste management?
Okay. Thank you, Bu Geni. I want to continue the question from Pak Agus Wibowo and Bu Geni concerning about the spent fuel management, or in the past we call it high level waste. As far as I know, we invited speakers from Bangladesh several years ago. He said that there is a contract between Bangladesh and Russia that the spent nuclear fuel will be taken back by the Russia. It means there will be no spent fuel in Bangladesh. Is that true, or what is your comment about that?
You know, I would prefer not to comment on Bangladesh project, because I'm not such a good specialist in this particular question on this project, and I suppose that the process would be as I described before, but I will not insist on this. So it's better, if you're interested again in our projects in other countries, in all peculiarities, it's better to invite people from these projects to your next webinars, and they would answer your questions in more
Okay.
detail.
Okay. I have a second question, Geni, to Anna. Your document outlines a cycle where the floating power unit, or FPU, must be transported back and forth to Russia for refueling. Given that the FPU, the floating power unit, will be towed across both international and archipelagic waters, has maybe the Russia has experienced adopted specific maritime regulations such as relevant to the International Maritime Organization codes to govern safety and liability in the event of maritime accident while this reactor unit is in transit, for example, because it's far away. From Russia go to Indonesia, for example. This is a very important thing we consider. Is there any experience your floating power plants goes from one country, from Russia to another or other countries? Then there will be many challenges, for example, on the international and international waters. My questions: is there any experience of Russia adopt specific maritime regulations on that?
Yes, thank you very much for this question. We just recently had a meeting on Electricity Connect exhibition, which was held in Jakarta. We had a meeting between several Indonesian stakeholders like BPTN, BRIN, PLN, Ministry of Energy, PTPAL also, and from our side there were colleagues who are in charge of regulation and also colleagues who are in charge of floating. So we were discussing this particular question. Of course, as you can imagine, now floating nuclear power plant is not something very usual for the international regulation. So it's just at the beginning of the process. We in Russia, we have our regulatory body, which is called Rostechnadzor, and they have, by the way, MOU with BPTN. And as far as I know, they are going to develop their cooperation. And we also have this maritime regulation body, which is in full connection with IMO requirements. So for Russia, we have special regulation for this so-called non-self-propelled nuclear vessel. And on international level, my colleagues who are in charge of floating, they are now in dialogue with IAEA experts and also with WNA, World Nuclear Association. So they're discussing at IAEA level the development of regulation internationally for these floating nuclear power vessels, non-self-propelled nuclear powered vessels. So their position is that these requirements which are now existing for nuclear vessels, they can be also used for floating nuclear power plants, because these requirements are already existing in international legislation since very long time. But the process itself is now under development. So we hope that there will be good progress in this sphere in several maybe months or years. But we are also working with Indonesian regulator, with BPTN, and we're discussing with them regulation for floating nuclear power plants in Indonesia. And as I said, we started this discussion recently, but we already see some progress in this and some mutual understanding. So I hope maybe next year we will organize some kind of regulatory workshop where we will bring our regulator, where we will try to invite maybe IAEA experts if they will be ready to participate. And of course, PLTN will be the main participant to discuss these questions of international and of national regulations for floating power plants. So as I said, now we have this regulation already in Russia, which is which we can share with our partner countries.
Okay, thank you. Can I ask another final questions, Bugeni?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a questions about you have already told us about the technological sovereignty as a key benefits. The one thing that I always admire about Rosatom or Russia is about the comprehensive supply chain, especially on the enriched uranium, because you have many enriched uranium facilities. But my question is, how do we mitigate the risk of long-term dependency on, for example, single supplier like Rosatom for property of fuel and parts, especially considering the unpredictable nature of global geopolitics? What is your comment about my questions?
Yes, thank you very much for this question about geopolitics. It's very important. And I would like to say that in terms of geopolitics, I should stress that Russia is still fulfilling all the our commitments with all our international partners. I would now not name particular countries, but I would say that we still have cooperation with those countries who impose sanctions on Russian companies. By the way, Rosatom is not under sanctions. So we are still working with all our international partners, and we are fulfilling all our obligations, even when there were some difficulties, for example, with some transborder transportations. Still, we managed to find some political and economical solutions how to fulfill our commitments. So from Rosatom side, you can be sure that we will always fulfill all our obligations. Of course, if you speak about some unpredictable, there are always some unpredictable situations which we cannot even imagine now. But if we speak of politics and of geopolitics, during the whole history, you can see that Russia was fulfilling its obligation in front of its international partners. And we are still supplying all the necessary products for nuclear industries to all the countries with which we cooperate, because we understand that the politics are coming and going, but nuclear industry is for ages. It's for many, many decades, and it's a very serious thing. Maybe that's why, because of this very serious approach, we have this leading nuclear industry in the world, I would say, because we never stopped developing it, we never stopped cooperation with our international partners, and as Bugeni also mentioned, we can organize some meetings with our international partners, which would share their experience with cooperation with us during many years. Yes, because, for example, in Hungary, we are now building nuclear power plants of the new generation, but previously, you know, they had also nuclear power plants built by Soviet technologies, so they can share their experience. And I think that that's the answer.
Okay, thank you, Anna, for your answer. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Pak Jarod. So this is the final question from me before we close the webinar. Anna, you already mentioned about the Akuyu project. Yeah, it is very interesting one for us actually. Related with the we know that the Rosatom successfully implements the full build own operate BOO model in Turkey for the Akuyu project for building the four units of VVR 1200. So considering Indonesia RUPTL, target to operate its first NPP by 2032, so 2032. Could the similar BOO financing model be realistically applied here to accelerate deployment? And what, if it is possible, what the condition must Indonesia meet to make the BOO feasibility? And the third question is, if we under the BOO for our to fulfill 2032, is there any transfer knowledge in it? So there is a 3 questions related with the BOO.
Thank you, Bogeni. So if we speak about the first project, which we should commission by 2032, I think it's realistic to speak about floating. If we speak about floating, then only BOO is possible, because for floating we propose power purchase agreement. As I said, we built a nuclear power plant, this floating nuclear power plant in Russia, and we operate it. It's an essential part of this scheme. So it will be actually build, own, operate scheme, power purchase agreement for Indonesian government. It's important to support this scheme and to find location which would meet requirements for floating nuclear power plant, and which would need this electricity generation capacity. And as we are talking to different partners now in Indonesia, we know that some companies, even private companies, are ready to consider nuclear power plant energy consumption. So, and we are making some initial research on locations. We see that there are some locations which could be very good for floating nuclear power plant. But of course, we need decision from Indonesian government to confirm this location, to support this project, and to start cooperation with Russian nuclear industry and Rosatom to develop this project. And if we speak about land-based, the next step, as you mentioned, in Turkey, we have huge land-based project, which is based on build, own, operate scheme. For large land-based nuclear power plants, of course, it will be intergovernmental discussion and intergovernmental decision also about financial scheme. So we are ready to start this discussion, and we are ready to propose different possible schemes of implementing large-scale capacity project. But of course, for this we need to understand also location, the quantity of units, terms, and so on. So it's a very serious dialogue which would require different conditions from both sides to be met to decide about the scheme of financing.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your recommendation. So you recommend about the floating? Yeah, I mean the type.
It's not recommendation. Of course, it's up to you to decide which technology you prefer to start, because of course if you look at your nuclear power plant or nuclear energy plans, you need to start both, as I said. So you need to start simultaneously to develop large capacity and small capacity to meet both plans. The short-term plan to have, for example, 500 megawatt in 2033, but to have 7 gigawatts by 2040, you would definitely need large capacity. And it's better to discuss them simultaneously. But to have first commissioning as soon as possible, it's realistic to start from floating, because it's the quickest technology.
Yeah, of course, the floating NPP is very proper one, I think, because Indonesia is an archipelago
Yes.
country, yeah. But we have to think about the readiness level of the grid, etc. So many aspects that we have to consider about it. But all of your description with many aspects is very important one for us. So Anna, thank you so much for today. We already passed 10 minutes. We promised 5:30. We have to finish, but take more 10 minutes. It's okay. So if you wish, we can continue our following webinars with another topics, which is very important ones, especially related with the public trust, public acceptance, etc. And then you already mentioned about maybe next week there will be an expert relating with the red waste management, spent fuel management will come to Indonesia to share about the experience of Russia.
You mean next week already from our side? I need to
Yeah,
ask our experts because usually in December they will have very tough period because in state
Yes,
corporation we need to close a lot of reports to make a lot of papers. So I will need to discuss them. I'm not sure they will be ready next week. Please let me know which questions you would like to cover in terms of waste management and spent fuel management, and I will discuss with colleagues who could speak and when they will be available.
Okay, thank you so much. So let's discuss about our following program, Anna.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for today. It is very important one and very useful for all the participants on HIMNI. And then we can continue after we discuss with Anna what is the following topics, the important following topics for us, to share about the Russian technology to Indonesia for our first MPP. Thank you so much, Anna. And thank you so much for all the participants of HIMNI. So stay healthy. Let we continue next week with another topics related with nuclear. So stay healthy. Terima kasih banyak. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye.
Ya, terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Kita ketemu Kamis depan untuk topik yang berbeda. Terima kasih sekali lagi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Terima kasih Pak Jarod.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih.
Waalaikumsalam. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.